Hello and welcome back. Now we'll discuss about James Bond insights from his on the novels and the movies. And there is a lot of things which we can learn, and that I started to expound on these things in the previous video and the continuation of that. And what we can see is that James Bond and the novel of Ian Fleming, the movies, have a lot of lessons for us to learn. Important thing is that you will remember them when you associate these business lessons or concepts with James Bond. You will remember them more. And every time you think about James Bond, you can always correlate these things. So that is the important fact we need to learn. And in the second part, I'll look into the team. The team of James Bond and how they are specialized for a job, how there are different divisions of labor, and how this impacts the mission. First, the team is working for the government. The government is behind the team, and the team is part of the government of Great Britain. And this team is headed by Ian, and he makes the important decisions. And there are a few agents, 00 agents, 007, 009, 006, etc. And he chooses them for the different operations. He makes the decisions. He controls the whole thing. And he answers to the government. And he is a civil servant. Okay, so that is their setup. However, there is a boss who knows, who is competent, is qualified to run the whole department of MI6. So we see that it is organized. It is more organized than we think, and they have a lot more resources at their hand, as they have to thwart the threats to the United Kingdom before they actualize. In the business setting, also, we need to have very organized, specialized teams who know the subject matter, they're experts, and who can come together and work as a team to produce the results. So you may be part of a team for a larger conglomerate, and this may be the section in which you are involved as one of the members of that MI6 sort of, that is, now we have MI6 and your business is MI6. Similar to that, and you have different departments. And the most important thing is to get the job done. In other words, operations. So James Bond is why is it exciting is because it's not theoretical physics or it's not some theory they are discussing. It's not politics they are discussing. It is something else. At the operational level, they have experts, and they will run the operations, and they will have their own set of skills, networks, etc., to get their job done. So that is what we are seeing. And that is very important, or in other words, there are a lot of informal things which a person has to access and use in order to be successful in operations. It could be the relationship he built, what is called as networking, his network, which he can activate and get the required help beforehand and create a competitive advantage for the team. So these sort of competitive advantages which James Bond exhibits are temporary competitive advantages. Okay, he has to create them by motivating them through external motivations like money or giving them asylum, etc. So he has to create a win-win situation where he can access their plus points, and in this way he has to create the temporary competitive advantage for himself over the enemies and get into finishing the job or accomplishing the mission. So that we see always happening. So he has his people in the hotels, he has the people in the different parts of the world whom he can activate and he can access information from. This informal form of relationships, professional relationships, give and take relationships, transactional relationships, which through which he can create the temporary competitive advantage. That is one thing he is able to do. And similarly, a lot of them have their own networks, and the technical team has own informal networks, the technical world, the dark web, etc. They are able to hack into things and get the information. Okay. Similarly, other needs of James Bond, health needs, recuperation needs, everything is taken care of. And even there, they have their own setup. Win-win based on different networks coming together. Like M has his network and he activates it when Bond doesn't have any connection in that area. So that guy will come and pick him up and do the necessary things. And they will, of course, have the give a relationship, whatever that is. And that's how they create the advantage. Otherwise, he'll be stressed to take care of everything on the field. Similarly, so there is a lot coming together through the informal relationship. That's what we're talking about. And this in business is a big thing. As we know, the sharing of information and even, another things like sharing insider information or sharing it to the opposite competitors for money. All those things also happen. Okay, that's the business world. The rules are not respected because they are in survival mode, as they say, like James Bond. But that's not what I'm prescribing. I'm just describing the state of affairs. And we should be careful. You don't need to do all those things, of course, but you need to have an informal network through which you can create a temporary competitive advantage as and when necessary, or your team should have people If you don't have, they should be able to come up with things to leverage their network to get even your job done. So that is very important, and therefore that means you have to create these informal networks, and networking is one of the important aspects of your team. Okay, that is the dot side of the team. That's also, of course, they are also helping you, but they are not the formal team. There's the informal part of the team which you are accessing. So team is not just what you see, it also includes, you have to think a little bit broadly and practically, that you can make sure that you are successful in what you are assigned to do or the responsibilities you have undertaken. So that is the important thing I wanted to share today about from the James Bond narrative story. It's interesting, but all these things, it's which you'll not forget now because you connected this to James Bond and his informal network and the temporary advantage it offers. And that is how he escapes. So thank you for joining. God bless you.